Hey everyone, welcome back to another Firefly Studios video. Aaron here with another episode of Inspirations Behind Stronghold. This is a series I do here at Firefly where I take you guys through the history that inspired our titles. This week we'll be delving into probably the most vital part of the Stronghold series, the castles themselves. Now again, we'll just be covering our European titles, so that's Stronghold 1, 2 and 3, with the Crusader series planned later down the line. I'll be showing you guys how we came up with our AI fictional castle designs, as well as how we went about representing real-world fortresses. This is the Inspirations Behind Stronghold, episode 3. Enjoy!
In for the pitch!
Our first castle of the episode, and I hope you agree it's a pretty important one, the Tower of London. With its first incarnation, the famous White Tower built by William the Conqueror all the way back in 1078, the tower has been one of the world's most famous castles ever since, and was a no-brainer when we were looking for real-world castles to put on our titles. Erected as a symbol of oppression during William the Conqueror's reign, the tower was perhaps England's greatest military feature for quite some time. It went on to house the royal family in times of crisis, and to this day houses the crown jewels within its walls. With the White Tower surrounded by two strong outer curtain walls and a moat for good measure, the tower was regarded as one of the greatest bastions of defence in the medieval age, and controlling it was paramount in a time of regular invasion. Aaron's fun fact number 1. The Tower of London houses over 23,000 jewels, and the crown jewels themselves are estimated to exceed a whopping value of £3 billion. Holy smokes! Next up is Edinburgh Castle in Scotland. Unlike the Tower of London, the local Celtic tribe who built the initial fort that would become this dominating castle thought it wise to use height as an advantage. Placed atop an extinct volcano, sieging this fortress was almost impossible via brute force, with successful accounts of capture down to scaling the walls in stealth. A complex series of walls winding amongst one another, Edinburgh found its strength in location. With a sheer cliff drop under many of its walls, it forced attackers up a solitary passage which you can be sure was littered with arrows and corpses alike during a siege. We took inspiration from Edinburgh in finding more demanding castles to siege, making it one of the hardest in Stronghold 1 in particular. There are several walls to break through after the initial gatehouse breach, and even the most skilled commanders must keep their wits about them when navigating the waves of stone wall. Aaron's fun fact number 2. Edinburgh Castle's dungeon has seen all kinds of prisoners, with captives from the 7 Years' War, the American War of Independence, the Napoleonic Wars, and even the Great War itself. Giving our Deutschland community some love, Wartburg Castle is our next featured keep. Located in a dense forest atop a steep hill overlooking Eisenach, I hope I pronounced that right, Wartburg is a lengthy fort that can be seen from miles away. With two gigantic mural towers, Wartburg was an important tactical objective for invasions due to its location smack bang in the centre of modern-day Germany. We liked Wartburg due to its horizontal design. Making you attack laterally made for an interesting challenge for the player as your troops are squeezed through one direct passage. Aaron's fun fact number 3. Wartburg was a cultural hub throughout the Middle Ages. It even held a minstrels contest called the Sangakreef around 1207. Again, I hope I pronounced that right. Our penultimate real-world castle, we have the French Haut Koenigsbourgh. You'd be forgiven for mistaking this place for something out of a fantasy novel. Located in luscious green forest, the light pink brick could be seen from modern-day Germany and was a warning of what invaders would face were they to invade. Somewhat similar to the design of Wartburg, Haut Koenigsbourgh was a step up challenge-wise as it sports an inner keep with towering fortifications around it. Aaron's fun fact number 4. During Swedish invasion, the castle stood firm for a total of 52 days. When the Swedes finally broke through, they found the castle empty. Shortly after this, a massive fire broke out, destroying the castle. Taking a trip to sunny Spain, our final castle is Guadamur. Your classic archetype of castle design, Guadamur sports a simple outer wall, inner wall, and keep, balanced in defense on all sides and a great introductory fortress for a new stronghold besieger. Funnily enough, even though it's a rather simple design, this was one of the later medieval castle constructions. Erected in the latter half of the 15th century, Guadamur was less of a military occupation and more of a royal house. This castillo saw the likes of great monarchs from Charles V to Princess Joanna. Aaron's final fun fact. Guadamur survived until the Napoleonic era, until it was sadly burnt down. Thankfully, it was later rebuilt by the Count of Assalto in 1887, staying true to the design of the 15th century Gothic marble. So now that we've covered some IRL castles, I wanted to take you guys through how those informed us of how we should design AI castles in-game and how they should play out within missions and multiplayer matches. To do this, I'm going to be heading solely to the recently released Steam edition of Stronghold 2, playing against some AI in Kingmaker to demonstrate how different computer opponents operate their defenses. Firstly, Edwin. As you can see here, Edwin's castle is minimal. I chose Edwin because the same philosophy for his tactics were the same for other low-level AI lords like the Rat. We analysed what made a castle strong: watchtowers, turrets, parapets and traps, among a whole list of other devious defences. These were then simply stripped away to provide the player with a probable chance of pulling off a successful siege. Edwin also has minimal resources, so if you did want to play the war of attrition game, then cutting off his food and industry supplies is pretty simple. The perfect AI lord for a beginner in the world of Stronghold. Next, the Bishop. The Bishop, like Edwin, has a relatively small concern for elaborate defence, instead treating resources with a greater priority. Knowing that many sieges were successful due to the cutting off of supply links from our real-world research, the Bishop is designed to invest deeply in food and religion, giving him stable popularity which is harder to cut down if again you wanted to go for the war of attrition method. You are invited to siege this time around. As the Bishop's castle is the smallest in the game, it should take no time to storm his keep once you've got some know-how when it comes to ladders and siege equipment. The classic wooden castle. These early forts were used as late as the 10th century and onwards, so it was fitting for our Viking character to use old technology compared to his medieval opponents. Olaf's designs are simple, focusing instead on brute force rushes from the get-go, like a classic Viking warrior. More concerned with blood and guts than building puny walls to hide behind. Finally, we have the hammer. I've been using the hammer to cast a wide net over our more challenging AI lords such as the wolf. The hammer utilises a wide range of successful castle defences. Taking inspiration from castles like Edinburgh and the Tower of London, the hammer uses concentric castle design, meaning he will implement layers of wall defences instead of just the single one, like you see here. As one of the most challenging AI opponents, he's also a good excuse for us to bring out castle traps, such as rolling logs, which can punish careless Stronghold players. So that was the third episode of the Inspirations Behind Stronghold. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for what we cover next in terms of aspects or categories within the Stronghold series, so that could be siege equipment or the setting of medieval Europe itself, maybe buildings, but if you have any ideas yourself, put them in the comment section below and let me know. And as always, if you like the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe here on YouTube for more Firefly Studios goodness, for more Stronghold goodness, for more me. Nick will be back soon, I promise. Nick will be back soon.